Story of the last game with Wake was they were rebounding. They did a good job, especially on the offensive boards.
Right. You know, the two keys in that game was our transition defense, which was not as good as it needs to be. They gave up 4 baskets in transition. And then our defensive rebounding. They scored, I think, 11 points on second chance points. In a normal situation, that's not that big of a deal. But it is when the team only made, I think, 20 baskets or 18 baskets overall for the game. And so those are 2 areas we need to do a really good job of. Our transition defense needs to be better. They played us all zone in that first game. In a zone, you have your guards always on the perimeter, so it's easy to transition from defense to offense. So we got to do a good job of that. And we got to do just a much better job on the glass, where we're actually finding people, hitting them, and then going and pursuing the ball. We've been good at that at times. In this game, we were not.
And of course, their off guard had 8 rebounds, which was pretty big.
Right, and their starting point guard had 4 offensive rebounds. So it's a little different, you know. Everybody has to be accountable to rebound the ball. And Makai was just the best player on the court on that game. He scored 16 second-half points. He hurt us when he was at the 3, and he hurt us when he was at the 4. So you can't pinpoint one group. It was, you know, unfortunately a situation where we didn't get the job done either side, in the post or on the perimeter and guarding him. And, you know, rebounding the ball, we gave up too many second chance points.
Of course, if you look at Tech's rebounding in that game, the one person you want to maybe step up a little more in this game will be Cam. I think he had 2 rebounds in that game, so you normally expect some more.
Yeah, and again, it's you know, there are going to be some games where maybe our big guys don't have the numbers rebounding-wise that you would think, but we still rebound well, and that's because of our system, our mentality, where all 5 guys defensive rebound. Now, the one thing that we need to get is some more offensive rebounds, especially if they play some zone. We have to do a better job of finding gaps and going from the outside in to rebound the ball. We have to get our 3-man rebounding better from on the offensive end, and our 4 and 5 have to obviously go every time.
Do you expect to see more zone, given that it's success they have?
Well, you know, we'll prepare for the zone. They've been kind of back and forth. They played us every possession zone. The next game they played 90% zone against Miami. But then just the other night against Duke and BC, they played almost all man-to-man. So you have to prepare for both. I'm sure we'll see both, and whichever one they think is most effective, they'll probably stick with.
Did that catch you off guard a little bit last time? Or?
No, we felt that they would zone us. And, you know, there was times where we executed well. We got some good shots, didn't make them. But the most important thing, again, for us in the zone is to get that ball movement and not just to play on top of the zone the whole time. And when we do that, their zone doesn't have to shift. They're going to rebound better, and obviously that leads to better transition for them. So we need to get the ball under, below, and behind the zone.
Coach, with the ACC tournament on the horizon, do you kind of change the game plan a little bit for this one and kind of play some tournament-style basketball, if there is such a thing? Do you kind of use this game for that, or?
No. Hey, tournament style is, you know, you better play well. You know what I mean? That's the best tournament style I know, that you play well. And, you know, again, the flashes the other night, but not enough.
Right.
So, you know, the thing we're focusing on is being more consistent in our effort, both defensively, which I thought was lacking in the first half the other night, and offensively, in terms of moving the ball, sharing the ball, making the extra pass, getting the ball inside, being able to play some inside out. And when our perimeter guys have those shots, to be down, ready to shoot the ball, and to shoot them with the confidence that they're going to put those in. And at times we've done that. So for us, again, it's just another opportunity to play the game the way it's supposed to be played, play it the right way.
Well, going back to last game, I mean, you can't be unhappy with some of the looks you got in the last few minutes.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure you've looked at them on tape. I mean, they looked like, I know Jason, Brandon both had good.
Right.
Those were good
Executed
shots.
Pretty well. The only time we didn't execute is when we were down 4, but, you know, after the made free throws. But before that, the possessions we had before that, we executed very well. Mufon made a great read on a dribble penetration, kicked the ball out to the open window on the weak side for a wide open shot. You got to live and die with that. And then Jason had a pretty good look. And we had an opportunity, because it was a good look, to get an offensive rebound on that as well. We just weren't able to come up with it. So, I thought the second half, from about the 12-minute mark on, we played pretty darn well. It's just unfortunate when you're on the road, you can't do that. You can't. And we're not in a position in terms of, again, I've talked about our margin of errors is thin. And so unless you play that way for 40 minutes, you're going to be in a tough situation.
And when Cam gets 2 fouls, I think you sat him the rest of the first half, right? I mean, is that just kind of standard, or at some point when it gets to double digits, do you think about putting him back in?
Well, I think it's more standard operating procedure, but again, you got to have a little bit of a feel. We've played Mufon sometimes with 2. He's been able to get away with it, and in one game he picked up his 3rd, and that hurt us. More times than not in the first half, if you get a guy with 2 fouls, you sit him out, and you play it by your gut in terms of if you think you need him back in there.
If you look back at the Wake game again, I guess if you could take that shooting percentage they had in the first game, you'd take it. And
no question. Anytime you hold a team to 32%, you take that and run. Now you have to do a better job offensively, better job on the glass. But if you take away their 5, 6, 7 baskets they made on putbacks and transition, they made 12 baskets the whole game against our half-court defense. We need to make sure that those other areas, which are every bit as important as your half-court defense, are as tight and as solid as the half-court defense.
Playing status is the same.
Same. Yep. The one thing that Wake Forest is doing more than when we played in the first game, they're scoring better. They're running more. I think they've gained some confidence. Harris is scoring better. McKay is a really good player that can score in a lot of different ways. He's a tough matchup when he goes to the 4, and a tough matchup when he's at the 3. Their big guys are playing better as well. So I think they're a much improved team than we saw 3 weeks ago.
With Nick and Derek being their last home game, what can you say about? Nick's actually, his role has been pretty important the last few weeks.
No question about it. So both those guys will play. It's their senior night. They've done a lot for this program, not only on the court but behind the scenes as well. They've given 4 years of working hard, and it hasn't always turned out the way they wanted. But they've bought in and done exactly what we asked them this year. So, this experience that they've had and the degree from Georgia Tech, which they'll both earn this summer, we'll put them in a pretty good path for the future.
Will they start?
Yeah, they will. But don't tell them yet, 'cause I haven't told them.